What's up, guys? Ew. Ew. Big sneeze. What's up, guys? Thank you. Should I work for a used bookstore for a 50% raise? Yes. Are you kidding? Wait, is it just what about benefits? Why the fuck is a used bookstore when I pay you 50% more than you're making now? Wait, hold on. Is the used bookstore Amazon? No, it's actually a bookstore. Huh. Fucking hipsters. Look at them go. Here I was thinking people didn't even read books anymore. I'd assumed our literacy rates had fallen to levels not seen since the 1800s. Gen Z is very different than all the other generations. No, they're not. They're just weird and antisocial, and that's our fault. And well, and the prior generations. That's the different. Oh, yeah. All right. Fair enough. Okay. If Dork and JFresh don't show up to this shit in the next like 5 minutes, I'm gonna go back to watching my weird ass TV show that I was just in the middle of watching. 50% raise, small used bookstore where you can sit on your ass and watch the market all day. Yes, all day. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what the question is here. I mean, I guess giving up his stable corporate job to go work at a small business. I don't understand why they'd be paying 50% more than his current employer. Do they want you to be like the CEO? Is it a higher title? Maybe they specialize in illicit books. Oh my god, Carl's gonna go work at a porn shop from the 40s. Similar title, but reporting to presidents instead of managers. Why is there so much executive structure at this fucking used bookstore? Amazon was a used bookstore once. Yeah, and it was run out of Bezos's garage. Bezos garage? Hmm. I don't know if it's apostrophe S or S apostrophe. Will you have many things to masticate on this evening? No, 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 no. I did my shot of skinny drugs, so I'm just drinking water. Gallons of water with fiber mixed into it. That's about the caloric intake that I can handle. It's Bezos's. That's what I thought. Herbalife. Imagine how fucked up the kids are going to be that were born during the pandemic. The skinny drugs I did back in the day made me hate birds. These drugs aren't as fun. They just make you skinny. And now I gotta like lose weight slower somehow. I don't even know how the fuck to do that. My doctor told me I was losing weight too fast. And I'm like, you fucking told me to lose weight. And now I'm not doing it now I'm doing it at a pace that's too fast for you. It's bullshit. They're in school now? That's fucked up. Yeah, yeah. There's 5-year-olds born when GME squeezed. I'm down 18 pounds this year. I stopped drinking every day. I limit it to only 6 now. Nice. You guys remember when pigeon whales used to get drunk instead of make money? I do. Those are the glory days. Where did we go wrong? What actually disgusts me is the pickle jar would still be like that if I didn't hate DRS so much.
Hello?
Hey, B Watts, what's up?
Hello?
Hello.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Very much for staying. I didn't know if you were going to take off without the other two here. I thought I'd try my luck.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, they're fucking not here because they don't want to do their jobs. It's okay, I'll just take equity away from them and give it to Carl because he's been talking to me.
Save him from the bookstore.
Hmm?
Um, yeah, so is it okay if I ask some questions? Yes.
I mean, that's generally the purpose of these. I know we get a bit off
Yeah,
track, but
okay. It's entertainment. Yeah, so I am a perma bear, so I'm still waiting for the market to drop, but I'm hoping eventually it pops and valuations get to where I want to buy shares. And I'm hoping to do CSPs and CCs. I've kind of chatted to you a little bit about that before. So I'm just still trying to focus on Gammastrike for those reasons.
Okay.
Long term, I'm hoping to use it that way. So I know if I imagine that, I don't have an example right now, but I imagine that, like as you've said before, like it goes above GN, a stock goes above GN, and skew is positive, and I think you call it VRP, like positive carry. So like IV is greater than HV, so it's a good time to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that in my head.
Okay, good.
But I'm just wondering, how long do you like? How far out to sell, and
Ooh.
at what price? Like, is it just I've seen you before show like you have a look at? Yeah, yeah.
So you want to yeah, so I guess there's kind of two things there that you want to think about. As far as time to expiry, which is, that's important. Hold on, let me make sure this shit's working. Okay, cool. So as far as time to expiry, I mean, some things that can help you can be like the surface, like the vol surface. So like, I don't know, maybe we can look at like Apple. So if we look at Apple and we come over here and we look at the surface, right, we can see that, after, well, we might need to zoom out a little. We can see that like after Feb OPEX, the volatility starts to drop off a bit, right, to the upside. So if we were
Okay.
considering
Yep.
like selling calls on this, we might want to look past that horizon. Another way to do this could be to, look at the IV in the window that you're selling. Generally speaking, 45 days, well, 30 to 45 days is about perfect because this gives you a lot of time to manage the position. And it helps you, if you get blown out, way in advance of expiration, if it's going to remain stable or it needs to be hedged, you have a lot of time to do that, and you have a lot of time to set those positions up. And because of, mean reversion and the way stocks, improve in value, say you sold here, you know, um, at this high, and you know, you know, it dropped, but then it went back up, you would still probably get another opportunity to exit this if you have enough time. If you sell something shorter dated, you might get like squeezed out of that position before you have time to close it or time to manage risk. The issue with these is they tend to not benefit from near term price action very much. But if your carry is good, like you have good VRP, and the option you're selling is, it's got a lot of premium on it, and you've got some theta, and you're far enough out of the money to give yourself some padding. And this is probably the trickiest part. This is largely with covered calls, right? This is probably the trickiest part. So like you can make sure that you have the VRP, and that does give you some information about, how expensive the option is relative to its historic performance. So for those of you guys who don't know, VRP is basically IV minus HV, and you will get a, positive or negative value on that. And the more positive that value, the more premium there is, and the more desirable it is to sell that option. The more negative that value, the cheaper that those options are within that window. Calls, puts, doesn't matter. Obviously, skew can give you some information about that. If skew is extremely positive, then calls are overpriced relative to puts. And if skew is, very negative, then puts are overpriced relative to calls. And so, you can get information about puts or calls from skew. You get information about the premium from IVHV. So, if you can check that box and you get enough time, then the thing you want to look for is your levels. And to determine levels, if I can find, let me see if I can use the scanner here to find something that's like over like Gamma Max, for instance, because that's really the most desirable place to sell them because upside is mechanically limited. Mm, there we go. So we want stocks above Gamma Max. That's ridiculous. Oh, let's find something at.
So Nove, I think, is above Gamma Max right now. I
What?
was looking at Nove. Oh,
Novas?
above Nove? Yeah, I think Nove. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, part of the problem with this is it's just got a very illiquid chain. Um, like almost all of the gamma is
Okay.
just on two strikes across the entirety of the options chain, which is like, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
this
Bad
is
example.
yes.
Sorry.
If I mean a good thing to think about is if the stock is less than $10 or has a dividend, then you want to be really cautious with all this data, especially neutrals, because dividend stocks tend to have extremely illiquid options chain and very very low premiums on the options they do have. And then if a stock is less than $10, there's simply not always enough strikes for you to really get like a good average.
Mm-hmm.
And since these neutrals are, you're trying to find the 0 point in exposure, if you have like 5 strikes and all of the options interest is at 1 strike, then it's gonna mess all of this data up quite a lot. You see that on like Webull where it has like no gamma neutral because
Mm-hmm.
the entire gamma curve is positive. And you run into like weird outliers on a lot of those stocks, and at some point we're gonna get in some stuff to rank these and sort them so you guys can know like how much the tail wags the dog. But I would generally stick with like
Mm-hmm.
stocks in the S&P 500. I guess we could go back to Apple.
Okay.
Apple's always a great one, because Apple behaves like the way a perfect equity should. And whatever stocks you own, you're gonna have to make some determinations about what the data means based on that information. But Apple tends to respect Gamma Max a lot, right? Very rarely does Apple cross and stay over Gamma Max because so many people own it, and so there's a ton of call sellers. And Apple's in a very good position right now, actually, to sell calls, because it is testing Gamma Max. But you do want to go dig a little deeper than that, and you probably want to look at the positioning and look at what's to the upside, look at the delta out to the upside, because it's very hard for a stock to run in a range where it has no delta. Um, and so if you can find where delta kind of falls off to the upside of spot, and gamma max is right here, and if you went like a few strikes above that, you could probably sell like the 300 fairly safely. Like it's a pretty safe bet to say that Apple will not be worth more. Will be less than or equal to $300 over the next 30 days. Very unlikely to cross that. And you can additionally confirm that with the gamma here, right? Like it kind of gamma peaks, like gamma exposure peaks out at like 282. So any upside move beyond 282 and the market maker's gamma exposure starts to decline, which causes them to sell their hedge and mechanically pulls the price of the stock back. And then the curve is very steep, so any downside move from this point is going to be accelerated because the exposure is going to fall off very quickly. And then even in addition to that, you could did that just crash? I think everything just crashed. Whoa. That was fucking wild. Okay. Are you still there? Hmm.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm listening. I'm sure
okay.
it was Chrome and not Gammastrike.
I think my
I don't know.
I think Chrome crashed. I don't know what the hell
It
just happened.
closed.
Okay. Oh, Chrome updated. What a piece of shit. Okay.
Worst
Anyway,
update.
fucking Google. Yeah, so if there is a downside move, oh, it did it again.
They've diverted software funding to CapEx.
This is okay, is it gonna keep working now? Yeah, so anyway, where was I? Over the next 30 days, very unlikely for Apple to go higher than 282. I mean, and then once you sell your position, you're going to keep an eye on it. You're going to make sure that GAX, above that level doesn't keep rising, because if that keeps moving up, well, if this part of the curve picks up, then, that starts to put your position at risk. And so, you can keep an eye on that, and that's, how you can determine your hedging. So if you're going to hedge those, say the price of the stock falls back, but then this picks up, you may want to consider closing early, or possibly buying long calls in the short term to hedge the upside. And then for CSPs, kind of everything the opposite, but instead of gamma max, at gamma neutral. So for CSPs, you want to ensure that a stock is going above DNGN, because this provides inherent stability from the market maker. And then so now, like, if and then the more positive those exposures get, the more support, the more the market maker's protecting your sold put. Generally speaking, sold puts are for the index. Like, I mean, unless you want to own a stock, you wouldn't sell puts on it. Oh, you can't see my screen on YouTube?
And on that curve,
yeah, what's up?
On that curve, though, gamma, there's often like this is a stupid question, but there's often a sort of a minimum. So on Apple, it is maybe at about 220 now.
Yeah,
on
right
that
here.
curve. That it works the same way, does it? That it's unlikely to go below 220 right now, or does it just keep going? Like people just hold those puts?
Well, you have to remember that the gamma down there will change pretty drastically if price were to go from here to there.
Oh yeah.
So this isn't like if price is here and volatility is elevated and everything's nice and peachy and stable, And then price drops down to here. Vol's gonna
Are you
shift,
using
put
the
skew's
Epic
gonna.
pen? Sorry.
No, I'm not. I'm just showing you. So like if you're up
Okay.
here and everything's stable, and price were to fall to there, down to that 220 level, um,
Hmm.
skew is gonna drop, right? Because and put prices are gonna pick up, and vol is going to pick up, right? The skew's gonna shift to the downside, so your little IV curve is gonna go from looking kind of like a nice little cup to kind of looking weird like this. And that elevated implied volatility is going to deepen this. So you're going to end up with,
Yeah.
a gamma curve that kind of goes like that. And that point is going to move. So that where 220 is now, it could very well end up being like 200 or 180
Yeah.
or 150 even,
Yeah.
depending on how bad the sell off is. And so that's very dangerous. Like to sell a CSP in this position out there, very unsafe. Unless you're going to put
Mhm.
a ton of theta on it or you feel very, very comfortable about the price of the stock. I generally wouldn't do that. That's more of like something you do institutionally to like finance other positions. Like you'll see stocks like GME where they'll have like um 200,000 OI on like some like $2 put for the leap
Mhm.
expiry. And this is because they're using all of these credits to finance other positions. So basically, like whoever's selling these is like GME is never going to $2, right? So they don't have to worry about these. These are just free money. And then other institutions that are long GME need to own some number of these in case GME actually did go to $2. And so they have a buyer, and they're just taking that credit and using it elsewhere. But like for an individual to do that, it's just not worthwhile. You're really not gonna net any benefit from that because you're not making the market, you're not inventorying it. It's just there's a multitude of reasons, but mostly you want to sell CSPs if you're selling them on individual equities on stocks that are trending. Um, and we can actually go back to times when Apple was bearish, and you can look at the advantages of selling CSPs after recoveries. So you want things that are sold off hard. Um, Big drawdowns below their negative on the year, stuff like that, and then you want to sell CSPs on those once you have some kind of confirmation that the stock has become stable again. So if we look here, in April of 2024, this is a very big market sell off, and it was very volatile. Um, you know,
I can't. I can still just see the Apple gamma curve. I can't see.
oh, can you not?
Have you switched to the main?
Hold on one second. Maybe it's just not updating. Hmm. I can't seem to share my screen in Discord. Give me 1 second. Hmm. Okay. Um. Well, fuck me. Okay, hold on.
As soon as you're gone, I was like, oh my god, what did I say? I'm bad.
I have a problem shutting up anyway, so it's not a problem. To just run my mouth all day.
Full of introverts.
Um, right.
Can I ask while you're setting it up? I don't know how much focus you need, but you were talking before about the red, about avoiding the red in the IV 3D surface.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always somehow have the opposite idea in mind where I'm like, you have to sell when it's red because that's when the IV's high, when the price will be high for the option. But so I'm like, whoops.
Interesting.
So yeah, I don't know. So you want to avoid the red because
Well, the IV is higher on those
it's out.
strikes, but there's also interest there out of the money, right? So it's
Oh,
people are bullish there on those calls. That's why the IV is
okay.
elevated. So yeah, I mean it's
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Am I display two? Okay, there we go. Okay, so back here in I think I was where I left off. Back here in April of 2024. You know, the market tanked. You know, Nasdaq was down like 30%. Selling CSPs in this range below VN is also very advantageous. We should probably touch on that. It's extremely rare for equities to be below Vega neutral because that's when IV rises on downside moves. So unless the stock's actually going like bankrupt or something like that, then it is exceedingly rare for any stock to stay below VN for any appreciable amount of time. If you go look at like, Meta, Apple, Tesla, even Nvidia, all any of the Mag 7, any of the top 50 stocks in the S&P 500, you will very, very rarely ever see them below VN. So when they are, this can be a huge opportunity to sell like CSPs in the money because it's very likely that the price of the stock is going to appreciate. If it's just like a market wide sell off that's driving the price of the stock down and like their earnings haven't
Yeah.
cratered or they're not being sued into oblivion or some other kind of news, I mean, make sure you check, but otherwise exceedingly rare. And so this can be a really good opportunity. And if you had sold puts at VN here at any point, sometimes for quite excessive premiums, you like 30 days out, you just never would have been assigned. It actually didn't matter how far out you sold them; you just never would have been assigned. All the way up until
Yeah.
now. But the other opportunity you want to look for is kind of these instances where gamma neutral is below delta neutral, or gamma neutral is kind of even with delta neutral, and the stock has crossed back to the upside. These can be very good CSP opportunities because you can sell here on the close above DN, and then even on the failure, even when this fails out here, and that's not 30 days. If you'd actually gone out 30 days, you would have been back up here. But even on the failure here, you could have just stopped out for a profit, or you would have, and you definitely would have hit 50% returns long before then. And that's true of every instance of that for the most part. 30 days out.
So when you say 50% returns,
That's when you should close them.
or is that your? Oh, that's when you should. Okay.
Yeah, ideally. Unless the stock has taken a really dramatic move and there's just no chance of you ever getting assigned, that's usually when you want to close those positions. Like anytime you're selling theta, it's best to close them early because the nearer you get to expiry, the more risk you start to carry.
Yeah. Do you the implied move in the time frames? Like, do you go? It's at, I
You
don't know. I
could,
suppose
yeah,
CSP's below
yeah. You can. I mean,
the. Is
you
that at all helpful? The
yeah,
implied move, or
you can
I
look
feel
at
like
the
I should
implied
be
move.
looking at that.
I'm not gonna say it's like the best, but you can look at it, right? Like say you sold CSPs on this test of gamma neutral. You can look at the implied move
Mm-hmm.
here, like in the 5 day, and then you can look at your implied move over 30 days, which is going to be a little bit wider. And since like both of those are very much likely exceeded at this point, you're probably not very worried about any kind of mean reversion pulling you back to where you originally sold, um, because
Yeah.
you've blown those out so hard. And then as long as the new implied move is not going to fall back to your level, you're probably safe. You do want to watch out for earnings though, especially on equities. Like
Okay.
earnings would be the big risk there, but you probably want to be out of your. I mean, we could get more technical with like CSP and CC selling in that you want to sell them. You want to sell them closer to earnings when IV is high, and you want to close them kind of in between earnings when IV is low. Um, and this is in like a standard, bull market kind of environment. You want to kind of close in here somewhere because IV is going to go up into earnings. Then after earnings, IV is going to fall, and then IV is going to start rising into earnings again. And right around here is like a sweet spot for closing out. But I mean, if you're doing cash secure puts and cover calls, like you're you're not selling all that much vol. Like you're not just purely selling volatility. A lot of times you're probably selling some amount of delta as well. So and you own the underlying. It's not like a spread. So you don't want the price of the stock to go down dramatically. Like if you sell covered
Yeah.
calls and the price of the stock drops 50%, you're in a really bad position because
Yeah.
you own all that stock.
I wondered whether or not you ever used like the IO heat map, like if like it's just gone above GN, and then
Yeah, I
do you
will.
ever go back and have a look at the IO? I feel like
Yeah, I mean
typically
it doesn't tell me anything I'm not seeing in the other
now.
data, but like there's very little OI out here. So, I mean, and that's kind of what I said, like 300 appeared pretty safe for the foreseeable future. I mean, there's barely any positioning on the 300
Mhm.
strike out to like July. And then beyond July, there's basically nothing. And then even the positioning up into like the next month is pretty slim. So I mean, I don't think that this range has very much interest. And so I would feel very comfortable like selling
Yeah.
cover calls out here as long as I didn't think the price of the stock was going to decline. But because I know where Gamma Max is, and I know that the price of the stock is very unlikely to go above like kind of that like 282 level. I can use that data to sell closer to spot and pick up more premium. Even
Yeah.
even so much so that like say Apple
Um,
bumped up to 282, I know it's very unlikely to go any higher. I could sell the at the money call or even hedge my downside and sell in the money. So I could sell like the, the 275 and then pick up that extra $7 a premium per contract.
Yeah.
Which, pads my ownership against downside. Because then if Apple drops to like 260, I picked up, enough premium that it's basically, for me, it's only fallen to like 267, essentially. Or at least as far as my shares are concerned.
Yeah.
That's what I used to do on GME, is like, and that's something you can do on more volatile stocks that do break Gamma Max. And they go like that, kind of more illiquid shit. Is every time it broke, 5% above GM, I would just sell back at GM. And then I would close when it fell below GM. That's how I got my cost basis down to like negative. Huh?
Yeah. We're all jealous. Can I just ask, if you're not owning the share, like there's a share that you want to own, so you are selling CSPs on that promo, but if there's, I don't know, if there's something like Apple and you want to own, just not right now, but if something like Apple and it's hitting Gamma Max and then you sell deep money calls, that's a way of kind of making income. Is that stupid? Like, do you always start with CSPs and own the stock first? Like,
I mean, so what the strategy you're describing is called wheeling. And basically how wheeling works is you sell CSPs. And if you're really, really good at wheeling, that's all you'll ever do. You'll never own any stock because owning stock carries risk you don't want. Yeah. But the unfortunate part of wheeling is occasionally you will own stock. And when you do, you sell covered calls at your basis until you get assigned. And for some people, that can be years. I mean, imagine, Fubo 4 years ago, and you got assigned on CSPs at like $30, and you've been selling covered calls at $30, and then the max strike ever since then, as the price of the stock has just gone like that. And so that's the risk with wheeling, is you can get trapped. You can get trapped in shit that you don't want to own. So, when people ask me about wheeling, I say, the first step is always make sure that it's a stock that you want to own, and make sure that it's at a price you want to own it at. So, a good way to figure out, at least what the market thinks a stock is worth is delta neutral. Delta neutral gives you a pretty good idea of like where over the long run the majority of participants think the price of this, what that is the price that the stock is worth. So right now, Apple's at 280, but most of the distribution in the options is centered, right around 240 here. Hey, Dork.
What is up?
What's up, man?
Sorry I'm late. I was busy fucking around with a drill.
All right. Well, I don't want to know what you get up to in your bedroom.
That's right. You don't. It's disturbing. You guys just talking about wheeling and Gammastrike and all that fun shit?
She was asking about cash secured puts and covered calls, because that's ultimately what she wants to use Gammastrike to do in the long term.
I mean, yeah, if you got a solid portfolio of stocks that you like, then I mean, it's a good way to kind of, if you like them but you don't love them, then covered calls are a great way to scrape some yield off while they're being disappointing. And then, yeah, the the cash secured puts, if you like a stock, but you don't necessarily love it, it's a great way to kind of scrape yield off your cash or slowly build a position at price levels that you find agreeable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the way I frame
that's
those things, because
that's
otherwise,
really helpful.
because yeah, Gherk likes to frame it like, because he's right with wheeling, you never want to be long and you never want to be short. But like as a long-term investor, the delta is not necessarily bad, right? If you like a stock, then you should be okay buying it, right? That's the usually whenever I do this stuff, I'm like, would I mind buying 100 shares of this? No. I'm like, all right, I'll sell some cash secured puts where I would love to buy it. And then I just sit there and collect premium on it. I mean, if it tanks, it sucks, but like, that's why you just buy puts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even like
I'm waiting for
like
pop.
both spreads are fine.
I'm always here for your bear talks.
Well, like, I mean, that's what so you could
I
do
have a
both put
couple
spreads,
more.
right? And then you limit your loss while still being able to go along the underlying with a much smaller discount, but it's, it is what it is. You're making some yield.
I have a couple more questions, if that's okay. I don't think anyone else has their hands up, do they? Or
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Poopy head
no?
muffin. Yeah, go ahead. You always ask good questions, and I know you take really good notes, so ask away.
So thanks. I I've with the pickles picks, there's often been like gamma exposure, and when it's positive, like lots of positive gamma, you mentioned that there's often pinning, and when there's negative gamma, more realized vol. I was just trying to understand the mechanism behind that. Like, to me, if lots of positive gammas falling off, that means lots of calls, more, I suppose, are expiring. So the market makers long those calls, so it would be buying back the shorted positions, I suppose. So I feel like that should be bullish, but I get that you always say please, but I don't quite get that mechanism in my head. I don't know if it's helpful for me to understand it or not. And then the second question is the delta. I've noticed lately Pickles Picks delta exposures being mentioned more frequently, and I wondered positive versus negative there, what that tends to do, if it's large positive or large negative when it's kind of notable.
Well,
Did you
our
hear that? Because like
assumption is that
everyone keeps
puts are
cutting out for
sold,
me.
calls are bought. Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but yeah. So the assumption is puts are sold, calls are bought. And so when you talk about gamma falling off, right? Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. That the sensitivity to delta is decreasing. That's how it's a better way to frame it like that. And when you talk about things like, so if somebody is long a call, the market maker is now short a call, right? So what they'll do on the underlying is they will replicate the long call with delta. And so when delta falls off, right, the delta on their short call decreases, right? And so that's the negative delta on their short call decreases. And so then what they're going to do in response is reduce the positive delta on their hedge. If somebody is short a call, then it's the opposite, right? So if someone's short a call and the price goes down, the delta on the market maker's long call goes down, which means their replicated short call delta needs to be reduced, which has a bullish impact.
So you're saying there's a kind of a mix of both markets and that would be like if it's an index on each side, then some of them are selling and some of them buying, and that's why it pins the price. When the positive
I mean, yeah,
falls off.
every option chain has its mixture of
Positive
long and
gamma,
short levels, right? So what we offer is basically it defines a range of possible exposures, if that makes sense. Because nowhere in the market can you find out exactly what the entire net market book is as a retail trader. So what we do is we make an assumption that gives you the outer bound, if that makes sense. And so in terms of our neutral points, though, what's nice about those is even if the balance was shifted, you would take a major mismatch between our assumption and the actual stock itself for that, for those neutral points to sort of not be where we are getting them, if that makes sense. Like what we are assuming is that may not be the exact positioning of the market, but it is the general consensus.
So are you saying that with the gamma exposure, if it's large positive, it depends on where the price spot is relative to the neutrals as to whether or not it pins or not the price?
Not really. I think that has less to do with that and more to do with, net positioning by large participants. So these would be, not market makers, but other people who are just, doing these strategies to maintain consistent delta exposure on a particular instrument. So if somebody is, let's just say, replicating the entire OI on the option chain, as you hit delta neutral, but they want to be at a delta, if they were just replicating it perfectly, right? But then they were like perfectly at the delta they wanted above delta neutral, and then it dropped to delta neutral, their amount of delta would be zero, right? So what they would want to do is increase their delta exposure again, so they would buy. Well, they would go long, I should say. Does that make sense?
No, the mechanism of going, yeah, that mechanism makes sense. I'm just having trouble understanding how that relates to large positive gamma expiring.
Well, I mean, that's just an effect of rolling contracts, right? So like if a lot of gamma expires, right, what you'd be looking for after that is if it recovers or if it doesn't. Usually it does in relatively short order. Sorry, I thought you were talking about bounce versus fall through delta or gamma neutral. So.
Oh no, I was talking about like there's that graph like gamma by expiry.
Yeah.
And sometimes in Pickle Picks, Gherkin says that, or mentions, or I've gotten the impression anyway, perhaps incorrectly, that the large positive gamma is when he says that has a more pinning effect on price movement.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's true, right? Before it falls off, right? In the moments leading up to it, the sensitivity to changes in price, especially near the money, just goes up and up and up, right? Like so you can imagine the probability of contracts closing in the money, like right at the money, are very quickly approaching 0 and 100%, right? So if you cross those strikes, all of a sudden those strikes go from almost guaranteed to be out of the money to almost guaranteed to be in the money. And that's a huge shift in delta. So yeah, it has a very strong pinning effect, really close to expiry. And that's generally where a lot of the gamma is concentrated for most stocks. But afterwards, once it expires, I mean, that's it, right? Then it just settles out and you see rolling and repositioning and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So above gamma neutral, that would have a pinning effect. But what about if a large gamma, there's large positive gamma, is it possible for there to be a large positive gamma amount of gamma expiring below gamma neutral, and then that has the opposite effect, like it would be more volatile then? Because then that's when the market
not
makers
necessarily. So, like, even if you're below gamma neutral, right, especially as you get closer and closer, like within hours to expiry to minutes, those net positive gamma strikes are going to have the same effect. Sure, away from them, right, volatility will still be high, but as you get near them, the pinning effect would almost be stronger, right? If you, as you approach them from either side, there would be a strong tendency to sort of, just kind of like flip straight to it like a magnet.
Okay. Okay. No, now I get it. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so it'll still have a
okay, cool.
so like imagine, yeah, like imagine like a line, right? That's like, let's say it's above the x-axis and it's got a little peak on it, right? You just take that whole line and kind of scoot it down a little bit, so most of the line is under the x-axis, but you still got that little peak over the x-axis, right? That's kind of what that sort of looks like, especially as you get closer to expiry.
No, I've got it now. Thank you so much. I have one last question, and I'm desperate to, so I'm sorry if anyone's got their hand up, but I'm going to be rude. One last question.
No, sure.
Is that all right? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because we're in Australia, a lot of what I deal with is the fact that I have to convert like Aussie dollars to US dollars. I do the trades and stuff. I can make sometimes, even if I've made 5K, I've brought it home and it's $500 like difference between the exchange rates from what I put.
Yeah, it's brutal right now, isn't it?
I think there's enough. Yeah, it just moves quite a bit. And I don't know if other people in Europe, I assume, like all over. So I know you've got mainly probably US people, but I'm just wondering if probably the stupidest question I've ever asked, but FX options, I have absolutely zero knowledge about whether or not they would give me any information about general kind of maybe what I can expect from the FX market in terms of analysis. But that would be amazingly helpful if you could put them somehow on Gammastrike. I don't know if it's possible. But I'm like,
not
help me out,
anytime
because sometimes,
soon.
like, it is literally the biggest trade I do. So, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the biggest thing you do is converting. Fuck.
It's the biggest thing I do.
Sucks.
It's the biggest trade I do, and I don't hedge it, and I'm useless. So yeah, that's I don't know if other people are the same, but that's my biggest problem, is that I want to be in the US markets, but I'm useless at currency. So I thought maybe the FX options might help, and I just thought I'd put it out there that would be. I don't know if it would have the information that I want, but I would hope it's there, and then it would be on Gammastrike something. I don't know.
Well, it's a whole additional data set that we don't even have models built for yet. So I would say if we do it, it's probably a few years out.
Okay.
But I mean, try to keep a track of like macro events for both the US and Australia that could like dramatically impact exchange rates, and maybe avoid trading on those days, at least until the event is over. So you don't get, you don't make a bunch of money in the US market and then, the exchange rate between the dollar fucks you on the conversion back.
Oh, this is less like
or
me day trading and more like the longer term, like stocks. Like I'll own a stock for 3 months and it'll do really well, and then I'll go to convert it back and I'm like, oh, didn't do so well.
Yeah, I mean some of that you're gonna
like the kind of longer term stuff, and I'm like,
some of that you're just gonna have to live with, or you could always just keep that money in US dollars and don't exchange it back. Like keep your investments in US stocks in US dollars. And then at some point in your life in the future, if the exchange rate is favorable, consider converting all at once.
Girk, I have a thought. Girk, I have a thought, and tell me if I'm being an absolute moron here. But wouldn't it be potentially good to, if she finds a particularly good exchange rate, to basically long the dollars that she needs and short the Aussie dollars, right, in kind to kind of make like a pair trade?
Yeah, you could do a pair trade to manage the conversion, but I mean, what she's talking about, like, I mean, you'd have to, unless you've got a ton of FX margin, you know, you'd more likely just want to,
Yeah.
you'd run that pair with options, and then those have expiries, so you're still locked into the, you know, converting out by like end of year, which could be useful for taxes. I don't know how you guys do them there, but that's a possibility. I mean, yeah, it's not terrible. It's just more FX interaction that I would want in a long-term portfolio. Like I would probably just, you know, leave, maybe what I would do is just leave my money in USD and then just pick up like a hedge on like some, you know, Australian dollar ETF or something, and that way I just had like some kind of protection if like the Aussie dollar rocketed against the US dollar, you know, and then you know you're protected from any like outsized variance, but otherwise I would probably just leave my money in the currency that I'd converted to instead of like going back and forth all the time, because that is very inefficient.
Yeah, you're gonna be eaten alive by fees.
And there's a lot of dollar risk right
Yeah,
now,
it's
so I understand not wanting to sit in the dollar.
it's not just that, like IBKR AU, like I looked up the terms and like I know in the US, IBKR, like your cash is guaranteed in there. But I looked up the fine print and IBKR Australia, if they lose your cash, it doesn't have that guarantee that the broker and the government, like your brokers provide the guarantee and our brokers provide the guarantee. But me using IBKR Australia, there's no guarantee for positions in cash. Or maybe positions more than cash. So yeah, I get nervous if it's like a huge chunk of money.
Yeah, that's
I don't know. I mean, that's not completely beside the point. It's just totally different. But yeah, I've got there's weird things. They
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I
will.
don't know what to recommend for that.
It's a totally different thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I understand why. Like, I know you
everything.
guys have a domestic kind of insurance, like banking brokerage insurance, and then the U.S. has one. But yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes accounts opened between the two don't, and that's
Yeah.
fairly because they just don't really fall under either country's coverage. So I mean, you could just open a brokerage account in the US. You don't need to be a US citizen to have one. And then that would bypass the issue. Because then it would be, you know, it would be insured.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look if that's possible.
You can just set up an
I'm not
LLC
sure.
in the US.
We're a little bit sneakered. Bad idea.
Yeah, I think. Let me double check that.
Not financial advice. Sorry,
SIPC insurance covers brokerage accounts of foreign nationals.
Sorry, I've led you down the path. I've led you down the path. I'm sure people have devastating
Yeah,
questions.
non-US citizens.
That's a good idea, and I can look into it.
Non-U.S. citizens are
It's
treated.
an interesting question.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Again, so
Oh, okay. Yeah, non-U.S. citizens are treated the same under SIPC for any SIPC member firm. So, yeah, if you opened an LLC in the US and then used that LLC to open a brokerage account, you would never have to deal with the lack of insurance, at least.
oh, that's so much better.
Yeah.
No, but that's
I mean,
awesome. I didn't think of doing that.
you're
at all.
still only covered up to $500,000 and only 250,000 of that is cash. But yeah, there's no citizenship
Yeah.
requirement for SIPC coverage. And then you could even roll
But that's
that
each
into
broker, isn't it?
yeah, every US broker is covered by SIPC. And then it's like a requirement to open a brokerage that you have to have that like the Securities Investor Protection Corporation covers it. And then you could even roll that into US bank accounts where you would then have FDIC protection. Because none of that requires citizenship.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But if you have, like, okay, is it like if you had $1 million, you just split it into two? That's what we do.
Yeah,
Like you sell a
well,
house,
if you had $1 million,
if you had a bank account, so we just put it into four.
If you had $1 million in cash, you'd split it into 4 brokerage accounts. And if you had $1 million that was 50% securities, then you would split the cash into 2 brokerage accounts, and then you could put the equities in the 3rd brokerage account.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Okay, cool. Have a great day. Thanks for always doing these.
Thanks for coming out. Where did Muffin? Oh, Muffin left. Son of a bitch.
Questions. That was interesting. Oh,
What's
Muffin.
Up? Yeah, I ignored Muffin for too long.
Damn, Muffin.
Bye.
You're fine.
Come back, Muffin.
That's Muffin's problem. Someone asked a question in chat. My hands are full.
Who? Oh, Max. When SPX bounced off 6780, rang several times today. Range several times today. What would you look at in GS real-time data and GXS to get a better feel if it's accumulating and getting ready to bounce? I mean, the IV smile would be the first thing. I mean, I timed several bounces off the bottom today. It just they kept fucking nosediving right back down again. But I mean, watching PCR, looking at if puts are falling off and put premiums are dropping, usually indicative that call premiums are about to rise. You can kind of filter call volume and see if call volume is picking up as price stabilizes. That's usually another good indicator. Large downticks in out of the money put vol where like, and then like in the money put vol goes up, or I mean, well, just vol above spot rises, vol below spot drops. Especially in like the strikes on either side of spot, so the at the money strikes. That can be, you know, if the IV above spot is rising, that can indicate that demand is to the upside. You can watch DF/GF and see if they're getting wider. That can be another big indication, like if the spread between them is widening. And if the spread narrows, bearish. And we really do need to sit down, Dork, and figure out a mathematical explanation of that we can both agree on.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I know that it has to do with the weighting. I just want to put it. I want to put it in. I want to put it in better terms because it is a real effect. It's just I just want us to describe it as accurately as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe,
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, we should sit down and just kind of go over it.
maybe me, you, and JFresh.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, there's a spread between the neutral points, but one of those neutral points we're making up, and so if we can account for that, then really what's happening is delta is shifting under spot, and positive gamma above the delta flip is picking up. Just pushing GF down, DF up. Huh. Hey, Muffin. Sorry for the wait. I saw your hand up a couple of times, and then
Oh, it's okay.
I saw you bailed, and I felt really bad.
Oh no, I had to deal with a dog, so
No worries.
it's no problem. All right, so I'm kind of doing a thing finally with Gammastrike.
Okay.
So, um, basically, it's an idiot trade, right?
All right.
So, I really look at the flip points, and the time of day is kind of important for me. But I've been winning 22 days in a row. Like I do one trade a day because I feel like zero day SPX credit spreads are like it's kind of gambling for me if I do more than one.
Okay.
But I'm pretty confident in the one, right, that I do every day. And it's and I've been really, really successful on it. So
Okay.
I don't know if I have a big question for you, but it's like, how confident can I be in that, right? I mean, I'm doing really well, but as far as like scaling up or
Well, I mean, I
I'm
guess
managing my risk really
I would
well.
I would need to know significantly more about the trade, probably, to tell you
Oh, yeah, yeah.
whether
I mean, okay,
I don't know if you want to share
so
that
I
or
mean, I did
not.
start off I started off well, I started off $5 wide, then did 10, and now I'm at 15. And
Okay,
then I
and
do
then
a bracket.
to close.
Is that enough? Yeah. And then
Okay.
and then to close, I do a bracket order. So I usually set my close at like 75%, 80%, unless like DNGN flips to the other side. And then I kind of manage it and I close out like, 20% or whatever, right? I just kind of get out of it.
Okay.
And then, I kind of have a break in case of emergency, like stop order, right? So if it goes way out of whack and I'm not watching it, then I'm not like losing the, like the whole, the max loss basically, right?
Yeah.
So
So, I'm gonna assume some things here so you don't have to go into too much detail about it because everybody listening is gonna immediately go try to do this trade. But
yeah,
I'm gonna say that like you're probably selling a spread on the test, either upside test or downside test of the flip points, and then closing it when it's back out of the money, because that's the only thing I could think of that would be that successful consistently.
the other time, well, the other thing is the time of day, right? I have a window of when I put the position on,
Okay.
and if I don't see like a breakdown or a break up during that time frame, then I don't take the trade, but that's pretty rare.
Okay.
Um, right? But it's definitely a window, right? It's not too early, it's not too late, but it's plenty of time if it goes against me for me to get out of it. And usually I can get out of it with a small profit, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But it's just like, um, I mean, I'm getting more and more confident of the data, right? I mean, you've said it a few times on the stream, like, you know, like why are you guys selling puts when it's above, right? Or opposite, right? So it's like, so I throw away my bias on what I think the market should be doing that day based on news or whatever, and I just go with exactly what Gammastrike's telling me as far as like the flip points, right? And that's been really successful. Like I'll have an idea of a strategy, and then 15 minutes later, it's like completely different when I actually enter in the position,
Yeah.
right? Based on what Gammastrike is telling me. So, I'm getting more and more confident about what the data is telling me. But then, I'm still thinking like, is it just going to work until it doesn't? Or,
I
so I'm
mean,
still pretty cautious.
there
as
can
well.
be news
You know
that
what I mean?
blows. I mean, any position. This is. I mean, let me kind of outline what I think you're doing, and then you can kind of just be like yes or no without going
Yeah.
into too many details.
Mm-hmm.
So open above or below. I because I only know one trade off this data that is like high 90% success rate, and then depending on which side it opens on, like downside test, sell spread at the money, and then close, and then vice versa, like upside test on a low open, sell spread at the money, close. And I would imagine in the early part of the day, sometime before like 10.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Is that
Okay, so,
like kind of the idea?
well, not 10 Eastern.
Yeah.
No, not. So I never trade within the first half an hour ever.
Oh, interesting.
That's burnt me.
Okay.
No, it's never the first half an hour. The first half an hour has always screwed me over because I used to like I'd always So that's not it.
There's more variance in the first half hour, but it's also like on trend days, it's more likely to test the neutral point before reverting. Okay, so you're doing this like midday then. So I would assume like between 10 and noon, or like between 10 and the London close.
Yeah, I mean it's reasonable, and then I don't keep the position on. I mean, I try to keep it on very as smallest window as I can, right?
Yeah.
But I still try to close out at like 75 to 80%, right? If it lingers on too much, right, and if it's drawn down where charm's gonna like kick in, like like the 2 o'clock hour for you, I guess, 11, 12.
Yeah.
So I'm Pacific, so
No worries.
then I kind of like want to shut it down because it's like it's gonna get too volatile for me.
Okay.
But typically I'm out of the trade within an hour.
Yeah.
And
Usually these are
working really well.
So if this is somewhat similar to what you're doing, it doesn't have to be exact. Then what I would say is that you could start by doing more than one spread. Like keep your, I don't know if you're doing 5 or 10s, but keep your spread distance the same. Don't change that because that's profitable. But you could start scaling. So try 2x. And then look at your profit factor relative to the trade. So that's the amount of profit you're making off of the premium or the risk. And then if your profit factor remains unaffected by moving up to 2 contracts, then you can move to 3, 4, and just keep monitoring that over like 15 to 30 days. And then slowly build your scaling from that. But that way, at least you have a metric that you can check against. On a more advanced, I don't know how advanced your mathematics are, but like you could use like Z-score over time and create like a database of each trade, and then monitor the Z-score and see like where your leverage starts to make your Z-score come down, and then that kind of thing. But That's really complex, and you probably don't want to get into
Yeah.
all of that. I would just say, like, keep an eye on your profit
Right.
factor, see how much it's affected by leverage. If you hit a point where the amount of leverage you're adding is reducing the profit factor of the trade, or or you're running into a market environment where the profit factor of the trade is being affected by like broader market mechanic conditions, like the environment, and then scale back your leverage.
Right.
And
Right.
and
Yeah, because
over time, like a very successful trade will, like, ideal leverage will move up and down across the range. So there'll be times where you want lower amounts of leverage. There'll be times where higher amounts of leverage are successful. And the sweet spot will always kind of be a little elusive, but it'll always be, somewhere kind of in the middle of that.
right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I've been widening the strikes. So I'm at 15 wide right now, right? And then
That's
like I
actually
said, I've got the back up.
that's more dangerous. So that gives you more vol exposure, and it helps you realize profit faster.
Yep.
So both of those are better. So this means time in the trade is reduced. This means that the impact from volatility is felt more quickly as well. But you increase risk while maintaining the same amount of leverage. Whereas if you went up in leverage, you would maintain the same amount of relative risk, but you would have more profit per trade. And so you could mess with those. You could try like 2x 5 wide, or 1x 10 wide, or 3x 5 wide versus 1x 15 wide. And you can find the sweet spot for the spread too, and like time you want to spend in the trade and all of that. But I mean, I would, if the trade was started with 5 wide or 10 wide, I would stick with that, and I would mess with leverage first, and then mess with the like, that's really much more of a like fine tuning metric. So you want to get your leverage and your timing and all of that perfect and fleshed out. And then once you have your leverage set, then you can start messing with the spread width.
Okay. Okay, so I was totally thinking the opposite. So this is good. Where I was increasing the spread width, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I mean, double it, and then
by increasing the spread width, you're basically going closer and closer to naked options. So the more you widen that spread, the more like a naked option it becomes, which increases the premium, right? So you're getting more premium, which gives you more padding, and then that premium is more sensitive to spot. But it's also increasing your risk the same amount. So I would focus on leverage first, and then mess with the premium you're receiving after.
Interesting. Okay, cool. No, this is helpful. Yeah, because I haven't really honestly been in this position where I like consistently win on a 0 DTE. It's always been kind of like I'm bored at work and I'm gambling.
Yeah.
But this is really starting to be pretty boring, right? Because I'm in and out of the trade, and then it's like I've got all these hours, because I limit, if I do a second trade as a second 0 DTE, then it feels like gambling, and I tend to lose, right? And then I kiss away what I made in the morning plus some, right? So
I mean,
and then I'm shit at debit spreads. I can't do debit spreads, especially.
Whoa! Introspection and growth is not allowed in this community.
That's
You need to leave. Sorry,
I will
I'd
say
pop in.
something. I will say something
Yeah.
about
But-
very good trading is it's very boring, but it's also very profitable.
Yeah.
So this is what I've pushed everyone. This is the exact thing I've pushed everyone towards for years. Is like, find a thing, stick with it, refine it, turn it into something that makes you money consistently. But yeah, there's no fun in making consistent money. Except the money you have
But
at the end of the
also,
day.
I have to add, be ready to abandon it the second it stops working.
Well, see, that's the thing is
and
like,
move on to another strategy.
no, I don't want to do that. I mean,
You'll have
you missed
to
the
at
part
some
where
point.
she's on a 22 trade streak right now. All right, she's fucking hot. All right.
I will say,
yeah, when you're hot-handed, yeah.
22
But
days. Of
remember-
every one thing before I
Knowing
remember
when
do
to
the-
stop is everything, right? Because you'll give it all back if you don't.
Don't martingale
Well, no,
it, right?
no.
You'll be like those idiots.
Well, that's why I put the bracket order in, because now it's like I don't want to give away what I've been working towards all these 22 days, right?
Yep.
Now I put that bracket order and I don't even think about that, and then I lose
scale
like
in, scale out. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you said that once, Jay Fresh, where it's like, if it's exciting, then you probably shouldn't be in it, right? So
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to. Exciting
sounds
is
like
a
Jay
hard. Yeah, I mean it does, but like.
well.
So in regards to like
right.
the
So-
scale out part is,
Yep.
I think I've actually been thinking a lot about this philosophically, and you're about to get a lecture, and none of you
Oh
asked for
God,
it.
I'm gonna
but
leave.
You gave me the ability.
No
Nope,
one even,
it's
no
not
one
a long
even
lecture.
tagged you
It's
to
not
come
a-
in here. All right, promise it's not long.
Whoa! I'm not even allowed in here anymore.
I was burning through questions this whole time.
Hold on. It's not long. But hear me out. It's not long. It's literally like 2 minutes. So everybody's trying to you think about like back testing and getting a probability distribution of like how probable is it that if I do this trade that it'll have this return. By the time that it is known what the probability is on the trade, if it is a good trade, that will get eaten, right? And so the trick is you have to be better than you have to be better than Bayesian inference, basically. You have to see something quickly and then basically kind of let your superstition do half the work, and then be ready that like once your superstition stops working, just be ready to abandon it, because there's a good reason why it's not working, because it's been around long enough that people have figured it out and consumed it.
Also, there's a caveat to that.
This is the only edge that an individual trader can get, is to not be shackled by statistical inference. You have to be superstitious to some degree.
I mean,
okay, so it's going to work until it stops working.
I wanna say one thing. Sometimes you're just trading something other people aren't, and nobody picks up on it for a long time, and that shit's awesome.
Yeah, but you got to be ready to if you follow the statistics, every single time it works, it gets more certain. But in markets, the more certain it becomes, the less profitable it becomes. And so you have to always dance that delicate balance of, if you know you've got something that nobody's talking about, well, you can go and evaluate how much people are talking about it, right? And so you can get a sense of, what kind of edge you have. But if you're using just statistics to try to find edge, you're never going to find it. It doesn't exist.
I can agree.
Yeah,
with-
everyone's
I can
already
agree
doing
with some of
statistics
that.
on everything.
I mean, that's kind of what I was telling you about how modifying your leverage over time can fundamentally, your profit factor relative to your leverage can fundamentally change your trade over time. And you'll want to monitor that, because you'll want to adapt your trade for market conditions, because the trade you're describing is very good in positive gamma environments, but the trade you're describing is very bad in deeply negative gamma environments. because those like DF and GFs start to become like when like VIX is at 25, those don't become support resistance anymore. They become very permeable because volumes are low and variance is wider. And you will get blown out to the upside and the downside on that trade. And so, that's a great trade in positive gamma environments or even fairly neutral gamma environments like what we're in now. But you get into gamma environments like a bear market, and that trade's very dangerous. And it will, like, the success rate on it will plummet. And then that's what JFresh is talking about. Like, the money you're making off that will decline. And so what you need is now you've got one, right? You got one. Excellent job, by the way. But you need 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and on and on and on and on. And you need to know when they're best and what environments in the market and what positioning benefits them the most. And you need to be able to alternate between them back and forth and back and forth and back and forth all the time. And and none of that is fun. And I spend, 252 days a year bored out of my mind, mostly doing this all day behind the scenes. But, occasionally I take some of the money that I've made from that and I do shit like I did today and buy 100 out of the money calls for $10 each. Because I want to feel,
How did
alive.
that work out?
It almost printed. I broke even on it. Briefly they were up 180%, and I mean like one tick.
Wow. Yeah. Rough day for calls.
Yeah, but I got stopped out at break even.
I was positive on my BNED for one tick.
Dork, I told
you
you
guys are still trading that. God,
I told you when to buy
no,
your BNED.
this was back when it was in heat.
This is because Dork. I want to know. This is because Dork didn't listen to me. The stock ran, and I sold everything, and then it ran a little bit more. And Dork was like, "Oh, look at that! You got out too early." And then it went down like 50% overnight. And then Dork was like, "Fuck this shit," and they sold at the bottom.
I got out, but this was so I paid the early adopter tax, and it kept going down. And it went up. Gert kept averaging down because he's rich. And then it went up and he was super green. So he sold everything. And I was like, I'm almost green. And then I was green and I was up like maybe 5%. And then it just fucking tanked. This was intraday. It was fucking gnarly.
Yeah. And then Dork sold with a 5% gain. And I was like, don't do that. And then it ran like 700%.
Look, I may not be the best when it comes to the shitty little meme stonks.
You gotta,
all right.
But I'm just saying, like, don't hold shit for 6 months and then take a 5% gain.
Well, so
my experience with Gherk is every time I sell something, he's like, "You should have held it." It goes up, and then every time I hold something and he says you should have sold it, it goes down.
You see, so
and I haven't quite figured out like what the game is there, like how to maximize that signal.
Just listen to the thing I fucking say.
Just JFresh, you just got to say you already did something when you haven't done it yet, and see what
I'll give you a great example because
is this why my YouTube channel is unsuccessful? People just don't believe I'm 100% accurate.
Oh, actually, I'm actually doing pretty well. I have like a bunch of HE, the power utility for Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Is that finally moving? Are they done getting sued by everybody?
Well, it's moving, but like the last time it was literally at this level, which was in July of 2024. It got up to this point, and I remember I told Gherk back then, like, "Oh wow, my HE's doing really well because I have like a $12 or $11 cost basis or something." And he said it's probably not going to stay up here for long. I would consider selling it. And I was like, what an idiot. Like, this is going to keep going. And then now here we are, a year and a half later. I finally got back to that original point where he told me to sell it. So what should I do, Girk? Should I hold it or sell it?
Let me
No,
look
no,
at
no, no,
it.
no, no,
Wait,
no,
are
no,
they?
no. You're supposed to say,
Are we
and
getting?
so I sold it, and just see what his reaction is.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you fucked it up. But hold on, I'll take a look. Are they building data centers in Hawaii? I feel like it's the
I
worst
have no
power
fucking
stack.
idea.
This looks
I
pretty.
have no idea. I bought it because it went way down for like shit I thought was going to blow over eventually. Just going to hold it forever. And I don't know.
I mean, they finally started making money again. That's cool.
I mean, they would, right? People need power. They'll always need power.
Well, they're gonna charge people more now.
But also, like, how much military shit's in Hawaii? There's always a customer.
And there's the billionaire bunkers too.
Yeah.
with their own private AI data centers.
Ooh.
Ooh,
None of those fuckers use AI.
I know. It looks better than last time.
All right. I'll hold it.
I don't know. Maybe
They'll start issuing a dividend
maybe-
again at some point, right?
No, but maybe consider like you're up what, like 80% or something right now?
I mean, it's not 80, but I don't know. I'll have to open it, but it's a sizable amount.
I don't know. Shed some exposure if you feel like you have a lot.
Diamond hand it is.
Okay.
Ooh, I should buy
I mean,
more.
you could always just cover your
don't
original cost.
average
base with
up.
taking profit.
Disgusting. Okay, no one's gonna listen to me. It doesn't matter what I say.
You're finally
You gotta
starting to understand. This is hell. You're in hell.
I should just get on the camera every day and like furiously masturbate with a frustrated face until everyone tunes out. And I'd have the same effect
Isn't that
on
what you
people's
do anyways?
profitability.
You would get more viewers. You are actually in hell. We are hell.
Carl listens. Carl's made
Wait, Muffin, did we ask you
Carl's made a lot of money
question?
just directly listening to the things I tell him. I just need to convince you and Dork to do that.
No. The more you tell me to do something, the less I want
I know, I understand your personality.
Guys, we still have someone. We still have a person up here that was asking questions, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
guys-
Sorry.
Sorry,
No,
Muffin.
you guys are good. I feel like I've fallen into a middle of a Vol Stars episode, so I'm all right, guys. I appreciate it. All you guys, everything you do, and your advice, and I'll check in a month and tell you how I'm doing.
All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
congratulations, by the way.
I'll look for a second strategy, even though I'm kind of attached to this one. I mean,
Just
yeah,
because you
still
have a
do it,
second
but,
one doesn't mean
you
you
know.
have to get rid of the first one. It just means
no,
you have
I know.
two.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I do like 45-day other credit spreads on other, equities and stuff, and
Okay.
I've got like stock and shit, but but as far as just the zero DTE things, right? This is the only one I really feel safe doing
Okay.
without like losing a bunch of money. So
That's fine too.
Keep it up. Explore the
All right.
limits of the
that's
trade you
awesome.
found. It's a good one. I've done that trade a bunch, so I have a pretty good idea of what you're doing. And
I can't wait to
it's
hear
solid.
how it
Blows
I can't
up.
wait to hear how it progresses. So
yeah, I'll keep you guys.
progresses. I don't want it to
Yeah.
blow up. Why would it? Okay.
Because I know you.
No, it's not going to blow up because I put the bracket in, so
She
it's
can't
going to stop
blow
me out before I lose the whole thing.
So you know what I do with indexes is I get these things called 3-day to expiry piece of shit options on SPY, and then I make about 3% on them, then I sell them. It's very exciting.
3%.
I mean, 3% every
Yeah,
3 days
no.
is pretty good.
I do about 1 or 2 trades a week at this point. I'm too busy.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ooh, Grackle's got some good
All right, guys.
advice.
Watching
See you later,
watching
Muffin.
this
Thanks for
volatility
coming up.
lately, though. is-
I'm leaving.
See ya.
Yep.
Run away. Grackle
Yeah.
had some good
I mean, if
advice
you want,
for
I
you
can
and
read the
Dork.
room. I can leave too.
No, you're good. You're fine. Your lecture was very
Okay.
short. Grackle says you need to be able to read "I'm looking at" to mean I bought, and I don't really like as I sold this 2 months ago.
That would be front running. That's BS.
No, I don't do that.
So
I am actually honest about when I buy and sell shit. I don't front run anybody. Even vibe trading doesn't get front run. Mostly because I forget to close the positions I have open. Oh, you know what I did today like a genius? I bought puts and I was like, that's a lot of leverage. And so I opened a couple ES contracts long to hedge it off a bit. And then I made a bunch of money on the puts and I got stopped out of them and I was like, woo, put money. And then I forgot to close the ES longs.
Oof.
Yeah.
Gross.
It was a big oof.
Were you in a subway or not?
No, I was just sitting at my desk. I just put one window behind the other one and forgot it existed.
No. Someone the other day in the Discord was like, I wonder if what Gherk's doing and if he's trading this. And I was like, he half the time, I feel like, futures are open. He's in a subway with one bar,
just jamming it.
$100,000, just if he can. Of course he's looking at this. Wherever he is out there, he's looking at it. He's
going
looking
through a
at the
tunnel
same
and
thing.
just waiting for the candles to update.
If you guys are looking at the market and you're wondering where I am, I'm also looking at the market. We do team meetings and I spend the entire time trading futures. And they're like, "Oh, what's your opinion on this, Gherkin?" And I'm like, "Huh?"
Except for the team meetings where we have to decide on the color of something, and then all of a sudden you're just Rembrandt.
We do have a great we do have a great color
Hold
scheme.
on. I have 18,000 ideas for this. Do you have 17 hours to go through them all with me?
I said blue.
Or the corner radius on a fucking bar chart. It's bro, this bar is it is atrocious, and I have all these ideas. Let's spend the next 2 hours talking about it.
Okay, listen.
It needs to glow. The bar must glow.
But how much better are they now that they glow?
They're better.
Yeah, exactly. And imagine if all of these boxes had squared off corners. Ugh. Gross.
You're a squared off corner.
I know.
That's what she said. All right, we've gone pretty far off the beaten path. Does anybody have a question? Get us back on track.
Somebody asked something.
Did you guys know that I built an indicator that tells me when to short and long silver? And it's amazing.
I bet it's telling you to short it right now, isn't it?
It's amazingly good at it. No, it told me to go long silver at the end of the day. And I'm long silver.
Did you?
Yeah. It's up 3%.
Are you up?
Yeah.
No shit. Wow.
Okay. Answer me truthfully. Is one of the inputs the weight of the tiers generated per hour in the Discord about silver?
No. No, I took the carry trade and I made a an oscillating PNL for it. And then I weighted silver as a margin risk mechanism, so either haircut or margin bonus. And when silver has a when silver's haircut gets too steep, it bounces. And then when the positive premium on it rises, then the carry trade PNL drops. and then when the P&L goes negative, silver sells off again.
Okay, I see what you're going full tinfoil. I love it.
Yeah, you
A
like what I'm doing
younger
there?
me,
Like, what if this is just the largest trade in the world and everybody's hedging it with precious metals?
a younger me would have said you're somewhere deep in psychosis, but this is exactly what I was talking about in my lecture. You must find a signal that is non-statistical, and that is a fucking non-statistical signal, I'll tell you that.
I've got the cumulative cost to carry on the carry trade as well. Which is fun.
Is it happening? Are we blowing up?
It's starting to, yeah. I mean, we hit negative 18.52%. And since silver's been selling off, it's down to negative or up to negative 13.62%. Imagine carrying this shit at negative 18% yield.
That's fun. A bunch of people were saying you were kind of bullish today, but they weren't able to really communicate why, which made me think that they were just misinterpreting you.
Oh, no, I wasn't bullish. I just saw like that the upside was wide open and bulls weren't doing anything with it.
Yeah,
So I kept buying calls and then not making money on them. I didn't lose a lot of money on them, but I just didn't make money on them. And bulls did. They tried to mean revert it so many times. And like the upside was just
oh my god, man. Yeah.
just wide open.
The problem was the downside was too, but yeah, like all the upside moves were always so aggressive. It was like a vertical
Yeah.
on the upside. There's just like a bleed off on the downside. So I would have thought, yeah, it's like,
Well,
what was the point in going so vertical so many times if you're not going to deliver?
Somebody opened like puts at 67.95 and 67.85 like around midday, like 6,000 at each strike, and those just stayed there all fucking day. Like they would not.
I saw there were some bullish puts in that range. It must have been a hedge of something else.
Oh, SOFR normalized a bit. SOFR's back at
the Fed's buying. The Fed is buying treasuries at 50% of the rate of credit production by banks, because for some reason, I guess we need to prop up bank reserves by 50% on the dollar.
Bank reserves are not doing great. We have some problems with
they can
reserves.
sell equity. Like, I'm so fucking over it. Sell equity.
They are.
More. Sell more.
More.
They bought back like $400 billion in stock over the last 2 or 3 years. They can sell it back if their net margins are like 20%. You can't keep your bank reserves over 10% if your net margins are 20. How does that fucking make any sense at all? The only reason the Fed's buying this is because the banks are on the hook and must buy treasuries. And so they can't maintain reserves even with healthy profit margins. It's quantitative easing. There's no other explanation based on how many bonds they're buying.
Well, it's technically balance sheet rollover. So it's
not.
It is. They're
it's
only
too
buying,
much.
They're
It's
only
too
buying,
much.
It's $40 billion a month.
Yeah, that's like $500 billion a year.
That's their rollover.
We only make $1 trillion a year in loans. That's half the loans they're backing. It's too much. It should be like 60 billion over the entire year, not per month.
It's 500 billion at the short end.
doesn't matter.
They're just keeping the system moving. It has no effect on
No,
long-term
they're
rates.
just allowing the government to continue to run a ridiculous deficit. And
They're enabling.
it's just money.
enabling
It's
us,
just
okay?
money. There's at this rate, there's no other explanation for what they're doing than just printing money. There's no other explanation. I've already gone through this a million times in my head of like what other explanation could it be? It is money printing for the balance sheet of the legislature.
Mhm.
Has nothing to do with the banks.
It has everything to do with the banks. It's keeping bank reserves from fucking tumbling. So they're
Right, but
actually,
the
what
only
they're
reason they're
actually
tumbling
doing is they're printing money at the rate that prime dealers are drawing it down out of reserves.
to buy bonds
Mhm.
because you can't use bonds as set one collateral for your ratios for Basel,
That was correct.
which is the problem. If the banks didn't have to buy all these bonds, they're making plenty of money to maintain their reserves. If they weren't buying back all their stock. Because so literally, like if you want to understand why the rich keep getting richer, it is because right now the Federal Reserve is printing money and handing it to the top 1%. Right now. That's what's happening. Right in front of all of our fucking faces. And they're trying to gaslight you and pretend like it's management of reserves or some other bullshit that you can't understand. They're just printing money and giving it to the top. Anyway.
It's the same money. The flat circle.
I don't know. That's a true statement.
It's not creating, but it's not creating, like what they're doing isn't creating extra money. It's just the same money getting rolled over every month.
Is their balance sheet expanding?
Because it would depend on the time of the month.
Ignore the mortgages, but just from a U.S. Treasury, if their balance sheet is expanding, they're printing money and they're giving it right to the top. Because there was plenty of opportunity for banks to not run into a reserve crisis. The only reasons they could is because the government spent too much money and forced them to buy too many bonds, or they did too many buybacks, neither of which is good for, everyday Joe. It's only good for the top 10%.
No, their balance sheet's kind of flat since August.
Are you including mortgages, which should be excluded because those are not on a rolling basis?
This is
That
total.
was risk long ago.
This is total assets less eliminations from consolidation.
Just look at the total treasuries that they own over time. Treast, Treast. Yeah. So since December 10th, 2025, they had 4.119 trillion. Now they have 4.28 trillion. So in basically 2 months, they have printed $90 billion. In 2 months.
Mortgage-backed securities held at the Federal Reserve, all maturities, has been basically flat since 2014.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's even worse. Yeah, they printed $90 billion in the last 2 months. Did you feel it? Listener, did you feel it?
Is that what I was feeling?
The top 1% felt it because they got their stock buybacks and don't have to deal with making sure that the bank that paid them stays solvent and a going concern, because the Fed will take care of that for them while they get fucking richer.
Ooh, I wonder what their gold reserves look like. Wait, are you
Oh,
counting?
Jesus.
Are
Did
you
anybody
counting?
ask a question? We've gone way off the deep end here. Let me look at the chat.
They must own some.
Why do we see no significant movement?
Wait, no.
Okay, there is a question from NW.
Federal debt held by Federal Reserve banks is at the lowest level since 2022.
No, what are you looking at? TREAST?
No, federal debt held by Federal Reserve banks. It's at 4.51 trillion.
What is the Fred code?
I don't know.
Where are you look? Where's your source? Because I'm looking at Fred, TREAST,
US Department of
and they've
Treasury.
printed $90 billion. The Treasury doesn't keep a balance of what the Fed owns now, do they?
Yes, they do. That's where this comes from.
No. The
No,
Fed
they
keeps a
keep
balance.
they keep a balance
No,
of what
it comes
Federal
from the Fed.
Reserve banks own.
Yeah, but that's Federal Reserve. Okay. The Federal Reserve is publishing data that says that they have printed $90 billion in the last 2 months. So I would need a source on the Treasury side to figure out how to square those two things. I wonder if federal on the Treasury side includes mortgage-backed securities that were owned by like Fannie and Freddie, which I don't count because that debt or that risk is no longer meaningful to the market. They already bought the risk off of the market and then they're just letting it die. They're never going to introduce it back. But that's not the same as like increasing holdings in a going risk management system like treasuries. Like that's different. One is a rolling thing, the other is buy and die.
You're looking at total assets less eliminations, or no?
I'm looking at TREAST, which is as securities held outright, U.S. Treasury securities all
Look at
evaluated each Wednesday. It is from.
WALCL.
Ooh, yeah, I've looked at that before. WALCL. Total assets less eliminations. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're including mortgage-backed securities held by Fannie and Freddie in that, which I think is invalid, but also still up from beginning of December. 6.6 trillion versus 6.5 trillion. Yeah, it's pretty similar actually. What are they including? Going to the source. Oh shit, I'm not going to do this tonight. Yeah, no, Fed's printing money, giving it to the top. If that makes you angry, good.
I just don't think they are. I think it's just the rollover in 6 months that just goes back down again.
No,
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody has a million reasons why what I'm saying, why they don't believe what I'm saying is true, but I'm pretty sure that there's no other actual explanation that makes sense than they are printing money, giving it to the top. And the evidence is over the last 50 years, somehow the top is
Well,
getting
what's
afforded
what's
every convenience that they possibly
3.65%
can. But no
interest
one can
on
quite define how.
$40 billion a month?
Huh?
What's the 3.65% interest on the $40 billion a month? Because they're getting paid
I'm not
interest
sure what you're
payments
getting
from
at.
they're getting paid interest payments from the treasury. I'm telling you that the money's moving in a circle. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So I don't think they've printed
Well,
$90 billion. I think they're
no.
just up $90 billion.
No, 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 no. But you're not circling the circle because all of that interest goes back into having to buy more treasuries.
No, only
And they
$40
have to
billion
buy more
of it does.
treasuries at a rate faster than they're being paid. And no, no, no. And the only reason that rates are as low as they are today is because of two things. One, well, has been because one, banks are making private loans, which are growing the money supply to absorb the increase, the acceleration of treasury issuance. But now we have the Federal Reserve coming in and saying, no, 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 we've got to supplement this balance. Uh, but yeah, if you're looking at it from this circular perspective of like how much money are they getting from interest, this is, and I even make a joke about how I say this every week. Every year, the U.S. government pays $1 trillion in return of an additional investment of $2 trillion. So you're negative 1 trillion in the hole based on interest rates alone. So the only thing that can fill that is either private growth of money or public growth of money. And the Federal Reserve has now decided that the growth of money needs to be somewhat public. It can't simply be private. But whatever they're earning from interest is not covering the acceleration of new debt.
No, I know
Anyway.
that.
Do I kind of think this is the start of the end? Yeah, I do. I think the AI trade is collapsing, and I think Bitcoin is the most timely measure of that collapse.
I just want to point out that I called it.
Which one?
Oh, the AI trade collapsing with these earnings.
Oh, the collapse because right when they switched from free cash flows to debt. Yeah, you did. And I think I'll give that. I think that Bitcoin is a measure is the most timely measurement of that transition, as the market is realizing, hey, the hyperscalers aren't going to take on all of this liability anymore. They're going to outsource it to the quote unquote neo clouds. Well, people don't realize this, but a lot of those neo clouds, everyone focuses on like CoreWeave and Lambda Labs and whoever else, but most of the neo clouds are Bitcoin miners who have all taken on debt at high single digit, if not low double digit rates, terrible rates, even by today's standards,
Oh, JFresh,
to build all of this shit out.
Did you see this chart in Pickles Picks? Because you'll love this shit.
No, I don't read that shit. I just pay you because you're an artist and I fund the arts.
Thank you.
What are you showing me?
Look at it.
I mostly just don't have time to read it. It's
I
not that I
know.
don't think it's valuable. I just
That was from the.
let's see.
That was at
Average
the beginning of the
BTC
week.
ETF holder. Oh yeah. They're underwater. Yeah, their
They're
cost
so
basis
fucking
on.
underwater.
Actually, I just updated my.
They're like 40% under
I
now.
just hold on. I just updated my numbers. Their average buy price is $80,643.56. So they're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sailor's fucked too.
Nice.
He's at 76.
Yeah, are you guys ready for wasn't MSTR's like final earnings tonight?
Oh God. Actually,
Their last
Iron's
earnings
earnings
call?
were tonight too, which according to my theory, Iron earnings, they're a Bitcoin miner.
Hey, they surprised to the
Are quite
downside
important.
on their EPS by 53,000%.
Who? MSTR?
Yes.
Well, that's because whatever the accounting agency is decided that
Has Tom Lee flung
for whatever
himself
reason,
out
Gap
of the CNBC studios window yet?
Tom Lee is currently being beaten by a mob. But no, Gap earnings, they suggest that like crypto holdings that you should on Gap earnings you should publish your mark to market value. So when everything's going up on crypto, your fucking mark to market looks fucking great. When it's going down, it looks really fucking bad. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. So, yeah. But I think arguably more importantly is Iron published today. They're one of the biggest crypto or Bitcoin miners that have pivoted to AI, and their press release says what? Oh, they got 3.6 billion of financing secured for their Microsoft contract, which I think their Microsoft contract is like 10 billion. Targeted 140K GPU expansion. So they're buying 140,000 GPUs. Sounds like fucking meta earnings. To deliver 3.4 billion ARR by end of CY26. New 1.6 gigawatt data center campus in Oklahoma. I mean, they're literally just like a fucking hyperscaler, but they just have no money and they're all paying 10%, hoping the shit pays off.
I need to buy a new mouse pad. You know what I saw?
And if it doesn't pay off, or if they hit an illiquidity issue, they have to do what? They have to sell Bitcoin.
They have to sell underwater Bitcoin, which is even worse.
Yeah. They mined that shit at 120. Good job, assholes. Oh, this is great. Total revenue on Iron decreased like 40%. Quarter over quarter.
Winning.
Ouch.
And we're talking about end of December, right? That's the cutoff, right? So that doesn't even take into account all the shit happening right now.
Did you know that I'm just
Fuck.
short MSTR? I've been short MSTR for like a year and a half now.
How's that going for you? Seems like it's going pretty good.
Great, actually. Can I tell if the calls are sold or bought? Fuck yeah, you can, Potato. So you can go look at that shit, right? Let's see. Let's look at the SPX here, right? And you can see where the OI changed, like 6,900, 6,850, and then you can go look at the fucking IV smile and see what happened. Yeah, those are sold. Those are sold
Wait, but
calls.
Gert can't tell me calls and puts.
What?
Can it tell me calls or puts?
No, the OI heat map. Well, the OI heat map can.
Damn, I'm just looking for calls or puts, man.
Boom. Sharing my screen.
Calls and puts.
I don't want to write Pickles picks tonight.
Then don't.
Oh. Tomorrow's Friday though, and everyone needs the.
Don't tell him how to. Don't tell him how to create his art.
Everyone needs the 0 DT information. It's fucking tiring, like doing this and then going and writing Pickles picks. Just do it now. Interesting. Like most nights, I want to just stay up all night and write about stocks. Last night, I went real ham. Everything was so interesting yesterday. Like, IV was massively overpriced. And now it's even more massively overpriced. Ooh, do the live one? You want me to do the video in the morning? Oh, then I have to get on camera right when I wake up. It's very stressful.
Can I read this from the Iron news release?
Please. Oh, it's Potato.
I'll read this and I'll let Potato speak. ARR, which stands for annualized recurring revenue, under contract includes amounts that are not yet revenue generating until the relevant GPUs are delivered, commissioned, and in service. There can be no assurance that contracted GPUs will result in such hours or pricing, and actual revenue may vary materially.
Oh, classic. Love it.
Classic chicken and egg. You gotta sell the future you want to see before it exists.
They're
And they are
pre-post
selling hard.
pre-post revenue, okay? Cut them some slack.
Pre-post revenue. That's right. Yeah. If Bitcoin doesn't fucking bounce, if we don't see like Bitcoin over 70K by like the end of the day tomorrow, this shit's fucked. It's bouncing right now, so there's hope yet. We're not fucked
Well,
yet.
why do you say tomorrow and not like in a quarter?
Because margin calls happen in one day, and we're getting close to margin call territory for people. What do you think's happening right now? Fucking margin calls. What do you sell first? The shit that's not actually worth anything. Bitcoin.
What are you talking about? I was told Bitcoin was the future and that I could be my own bank.
Can you let me know when you can buy a fucking vegetable at the grocery store with Bitcoin, and then I will consider that worthy of contemplation.
If I could do it today, and what was the country? Brazil.
It's not a real country.
Damn.
Yeah.
You got me.
Anyway, Potato, what you got? What you got, man?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask about the OIC map. Like, I think you were just going to explain like how I can use the ID to see if like the calls or the puts at a certain strike or expiry were sold or bought.
Yeah, you can look at the skew and the time frame that the options came in, and you can look at the implied vol and the time frame the options came in. You can also just look at the strike at the expiry on the IV curve and see if it's gone like up or down.
Okay, I may need to try
Potato,
this. I may, go ahead.
do you follow me on X, or do you follow Gammastrike's account on X?
I don't have X.
Okay, I've been dropping some teasers on my weekly / monthlies on ways that you can. I'm not going to force you to get it. I think they republish it on Reddit and Blue Sky, but you should follow Gammastrike on one of the social media platforms and take a look at some of that stuff, because I have been dropping little tidbits on, at least not on intraday, although we have something cooking for that, but on like longer time frames, getting a rough sense of, bought sold
Okay.
by strike and
Yeah, I think,
expiry.
yeah, not so much interested in the zero BP, more just, I think, day by day on equity. I may need to just play around with the IV piece and try to wrap my head around it. So I
Yeah,
may
I
have
mean,
future
Well,
questions.
if options are
yeah, so the
sold,
IV page. Yeah, go ahead.
if options are being
Sorry.
sold, the IV at that strike is going to go down. If they're being bought, the IV at that strike is going to go up. So, I mean, you can just look at the OI heat map, find out, did OI increase or decrease? If OI increased, especially if it increased like substantially, right? And then you can go like this is SPXW, you can go, and then you can go look at the implied vol, right? Like those options are in the 10-day period, right? So we're looking at 10-day skew. Most of the options in that time period look like, well, at least on the pit side, look like they were sold. But then like you can go here and like find the strike and see what's going on with the IV of that strike relative to the strikes around it. And if that strike is lower IV, then that kind of tells you what you need to know. That tells you those puts are likely sold. You can also use like more broadly. You can use your skew adjusted decks. Um, and that gives you an idea of like overall the botness or soldness of the options. But if
Shit, are we at a
if
point where
skew
I need to just.
if skew's steepening, I mean it means that the option is the options in that like 10-day window are largely being sold. As far as knowing whether the option is bought or sold, like the specific option is bought or sold, it doesn't really matter if if that strike is specifically being bought, but all the strikes around it are being sold, then that's kind of irrelevant. Unless it's being bought to like an insane degree or like multiple magnitudes more buying at that strike than there is at the surrounding strikes.
Yeah, it was more around that. I think there's just the magnitude of
Yeah,
the nearby strikes.
I would just like to say, in terms of the skew adjusted DEXA that he brought up on SPXW, based on this information, if you had to make a directional bet, gun to your head, it would be up from here, which pains my heart. But this has been one of those measurements where every time I say this time is different, it isn't.
Wait, Kirk, can you open that page up again
What's that?
for the
Yeah,
DEXA?
SPXW,
Oh yeah.
just Greeks SPXW to show the DEXA. If you kind of zoom out to get a better aspect ratio on that data point, so you kind of see, like the only time it's really dipped meaningfully lower than where it is now is like the crash earlier in 2025. So if we're not crashing, we're bouncing basically here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say skew adjusted gamma isn't getting close to positive yet.
Fair. But it's turning up. I don't
It
know.
is.
Yeah,
It is
it's
turning up.
Again,
we are at a point where shit might be about to get real. That's not an understatement. But if it's not about to get real, shit about to turn around hard.
You
Wasn't
know,
Gex
That's why
reversing or going up,
you know that the
going
April
less?
25 crash was almost as bad as the COVID crash?
yeah, I think the issue is that it turned around in like 2 days.
That's
Most
because they
people
were
like didn't
both
even register
volatility
it.
events, not macroeconomic events.
Yes, no, you're correct. We haven't
Yeah.
had an actual crash since
2008.
well, 2008. We haven't had like an actual credit crash.
Yeah.
All the other crashes are just volatility events, which that's what I'm saying. Like if this is in terms of betting on volatility, we have extended ourselves quite a lot, even just getting down here. And I think everybody can kind of agree, even just getting down below like a few dollars below 6,800 has been a grind. Nobody's letting go.
No, they were still selling
look,
vol
it's
today.
not a crash unless it comes from the economy region of France. Otherwise, it's just a sparkling volatility event.
Ooh!
That's correct.
Vol sellers
Unless
backed
it,
off tonight. Hold on. VX VIX correlation picked up after in future like the overnight hours. That's actually a big deal. They've been
tell me
selling
more.
they've been
Give
selling
me.
vol the whole time, right? Correlation's been declining between
Yeah.
VIX futures and cash VIX, and tonight it's
Yeah.
up. They may just sell it in the morning, but right now,
Yeah.
some vol sellers are like, "Fuck this shit."
That's what I'm saying. We're on a knife edge. We're either going to go straight down or straight up. So maybe just long calls and puts. I don't
Straddle time.
know.
One of them will pay for the other one.
Although they are expensive. They are
Does it?
expensive, which means we're going to go somehow exactly flat from here for the next 3 months, which seems like the least likely outcome.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we just dipped from 7,000 to 6,790 and then just went completely flat? We stayed at 6,790 until June or May.
But, I mean, we've been at
People
7,000
would lose
since
their fucking
October.
minds. Well, yeah, but we've been like up and down to it, right?
I don't know, man. It's been pretty fucking flat.
I don't know.
Like we've been in roughly the same price range for since October.
I know.
I
I
don't
was
know.
doing the exact same thing you're doing right now earlier today. I know. We're running out of gas, that's for sure. This is like
I mean, I'm not running out of gas.
Actually, need to. You are correct. Inverse butterflies and inverse condors benefit greatly from the overpriced options. They're just not very profitable without insane amounts of leverage. But they are nice. I can't believe Discord just charged me $15 right now while I'm using it. Hey, has anybody ever had this experience with Verizon where they just change your phone bill every month?
What?
Yeah.
No.
They
Well,
keep-
I have AT&T. They give me the same bill I have for a month.
Yeah, I had T-Mobile for like 10 years, and I just had the same bill every month. And now with Verizon, it's like a different amount every month.
It's like half of the things you say is just like this guy has way too much money, and then the other half of the things you say is just like, how poor is this asshole? Who has T-Mobile?
What? I had T-Mobile forever because it had the better 4G in New York City, like back when I was looking for a new carrier. But generally speaking, when my phones are old, I then just move to a new carrier. because they're all functionally the same at this point. So it's just like, yeah, just that way I get a bunch of free phones.
Yeah, I mean, do the microchips in your bloodstream from the COVID vaccine even pick up 4G? You need 5G, don't you?
I said back when there was 4G, and then I just stuck with T-Mobile because they kept giving me free phones. But then they stopped giving me free phones. Potato just left. He was like, "Fuck this, no problem, man." And then I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go to Verizon because they'll give me free phones." And now I have new free phones. I'm gonna be with Verizon until those phones are old. And then if Verizon won't give me new free phones, I'll switch to AT&T or T-Mobile.
Just do what I do and never upgrade your phone.
I do think we kind of answered Potato's question, but I would like to add on, please do look for those little tidbits I'm dropping because we want to make it even easier.
JFresh wants to make it easier.
More, yeah, and more clear about like getting a sense of what's bought and what's sold by strike and expiry. So you will Dr. Gingerballs.
But it's you're posting it on the Gammastrike
with an underscore. Oh yeah, it's Gammastrike with a 1 in the strike. Because some asshole has Gammastrike with an I.
Yeah, he hasn't used his account in 10 years.
But also
because
I think,
he's a big fan.
Well, the funny thing is that X is just like, if you pay us $3,000, we'll let you just yank it from him, but we're not just going to give it to you.
Oh wait, can we do that? I'll do that.
Yeah, you can. You can pay to get priority access to. It's not guaranteed. I think we still have to like petition for it, but that is a handle that will almost certainly win. You could definitely pay your way into that one.
Nice.
But it also, so Ron and a couple other folks I think also posted it to the Reddit, the subreddit, the Volstars and Gammastrike subreddit.
Yeah.
And I think they also did it to Blue Sky. So if you are morally or otherwise just don't want to get on X, I mean, I feel that way with Facebook. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have TikTok, and I don't have what's the women one?
I mean, I don't have TikTok, but my fiance has TikTok, so that basically means I have TikTok.
No, like the old it's an older one. Fuck. Can't remember.
MySpace?
It's definitely something that no, not that old.
Instagram?
Yeah, actually, so I don't post it there, but I did pin it to my profile from the Gammastrike account. So you can, if you go to my profile and look at the pinned post, it is the Gammastrike post. Anyway.
Yeah, JFS, I have to admit I haven't done much work on it this week. I've been busy. I gotta get back on it.
I'm sorry, what? Did I accuse you of something just now?
No, I feel guilty for not having the same no life strength that I've had for the past 2 years, and so I'm just telling you.
Hey man, I'm kind of going through that too, but also at the same time, I did have a thought. I'd spent probably 18 minutes of my time today thinking about, should I ask Dork about if he's made any progress, because I'm pretty sure he hasn't, and give him shit to see if maybe he'll make some progress. And I ultimately decided I need to give you more space.
Yeah, I'm crazy fucking busy right now, but I'll probably put a little bit of time in this weekend and just try to get the last little bits. I mean, it's honestly though, like we're not really on any sort of crazy timeline. I mean, we won't be for the next like probably week or two. So, but I'll get it out.
That's the thing about timelines. You're never on a. Yeah, I spent 40 minutes of my life. I wasted 40 minutes of my life writing a single email today. It had
Ooh.
7 paragraphs in it. 4 of them were italicized. There were all caps letters in it, or words in it.
Wow.
And it was the goal of the email was to try to convince the monolithic contract negotiation machine that we have here to say, hey, we need to get this fucking contract signed. We need to get it signed 2 months ago. Momentum is important. Time is of the essence. And here's why. And here's why whatever conversations you're having behind closed doors between yourselves and lawyers and whoever else about God fucking knows what words in the contract are irrelevant and will actually just destroy whatever value could exist here.
They're probably arguing over the words should and shall.
And arguing over like percentages of royalties and all that shit. And, you know, yes, like words and clauses. And we've been negotiating this contract for 3 months.
All right,
And
I'm
it
ending
just
this
seems like it
stream.
was on the path of dying. Got an email 6 hours later that we're going to be signing it imminently. It's all done. Take that, ChatGPT. You try to write an email that can move that many people to action so quickly. It can't be done.
Checkmate, libs.
Yeah. Fuck you, ChatGPT.
Turns out you used
All right,
like
we
Claude
done?
Opus to write it.
No.
Yeah,
I
Gherkin
had to
needs to go
actually,
and
like-
hang out.
I had to actually like make sure that what I was writing didn't sound like AI, which is the worst part about AI, is just like destroying whatever natural, it's like starting to destroy natural impulses that people might have in writing. Because people are like, I need to make sure people think it's actually me.
Just do what I do and attach a picture of your wiener to every email.
I'm a state employee. I can't do that. Someone will FOIA it. Like the New York
That's why
Times
you
will
just gotta
FOIA
become
all
a listed
emails.
employee.
And... Huh?
Once you're in public office, then you can do that, and you're not going to get in trouble.
I just found
No.
the
The New York
comment.
Times will FOIA my penis.
FOIA My Penis might be my my next political album.
What were you saying, Girk?
Somebody like posted like somebody talking about me on Reddit, and I just wanted to highlight the comment of the night from the GME chat.
Do it.
They didn't even understand what Girk was posting daily. The language was for those who were in the know. And I just realized that nobody's understood me for 5 years. I've just been saying nonsense to people. And they've been like just nodding.
I thought we established this. Yeah.
I'm disillusioning myself very quickly tonight. We need to stop.
Yeah.
No.
You're speaking a different language. We're trying, most of what we're doing here is trying to get everybody speaking the same language.
I thought we were talking about Dork's cock.
Well, we were talking about my cock and it being FOIA'd by the New York Times.
Well, yeah.
FOIA My Penis.
Dork, it has to be ready for the wedding. Is it ready?
No, maybe.
Have you been doing push-ups?
Kind of. Yeah, I have to do them from my knees right now to make sure that I don't accidentally break it. But I'm off the incline.
You're going to need to get like a belt sander for all the grime that's built up in the folds.
Yeah, there's this thing called showering that has actually been working out great.
Smegma?
Yeah, but that's like saying I don't have to go to the dentist for my teeth cleaning because I brush my teeth. Yet they
Look, dude,
always
the ladies
find...
okay?
Huh?
The ladies begged for the schmeg.
All right. So you're saying it's a cultivated, it's like a fine cheese.
It's like a sourdough. Baby farms?
My golden retriever is literally destroying paper and somehow found a stick in my office and is just creating pulp.
I could never own
Are you going to turn that back into paper?
They're too happy. I don't trust them.
What, golden retrievers?
Yeah.
This one's neurotic. You might like it.
Oh.
Are you gonna meet it?
Well, I thought so. I mean, unless I was
hanging out end of the month.
Oh wait, is it end of the month? That soon?
Well, no,
I thought it was like this summer or something.
Yeah, I got to get my plane tickets, man. It's basically summer right now.
Where did I send it?
Did you text somebody who wasn't me?
I said in the AQ, Feb 27th and March 1 is a go.
Oh shit.
I'm going to be doing 2 plane rides in a week. Thankfully, the second one's not that.
Nuke will show up. He's just a few hours away. He needs to go back and find that armadillo to ask it more questions.
No, I want the questions. I need them.
It's funny. Nuke flew here and was just like, I was going to give him some time to like get adjusted, and he was just like, I want to come meet you. And I was like, all right, come on down. And I was just thinking, like, what am I going to do? It's like, I'm going to take him back in the woods with my golden retriever, and we're going to hunt armadillos, and we're going to ask them our deepest questions. And we found one pretty much right away.
Wait, you guys did LSD?
No LSD required. It was a real armadillo, and it actually just...
You guys didn't touch the armadillo, did you?
Yeah. Told us what we needed to know.
That's, they carry leprosy.
I touched it, actually, for the first time.
Oh my god.
I touched it with my shoe.
Oh, okay. And then
I touched it with my shoe. And it pushed up like it with all of its might.
I don't even want to
30
think about
pounds of force. It was
future
very
where
disorienting.
I have to explain to people that you're a leper.
No. Like, I would never touch an armadillo. Okay, so most people don't realize, like, if you look at an armadillo, their eyes look like they are like if Donald Trump had a bubonic plague infested vagina. That's what their eyes look like. You would not want to touch it with your hand. It wouldn't feel natural because they just look diseased.
Because they carry leprosy.
Go look up an armadillo eye. Go look an armadillo eye. It's disgusting.
It's kind of like deer. If you see a deer up close, you do not want to touch it.
Ugh.
It just looks like Trump's eyes.
Yeah. It looks like Trump's vagina, eye. You're sharing your screen.
Yeah, I
know.
Trump's an armadillo. He has leprosy in his eyes.
Man, if Melania gets one more facelift, she's gonna have to shave her beard.
Don't you speak that way about our first lady. She's a classy lady.
Oh
Did you get
Dirk.
a chance to
You're fucking savage.
did you get a chance to go see Melania in theaters?
Did anyone? No.
Why would you want to see Melania?
In theaters.
In
like
theaters.
half of
no
Netflix
less.
is like shitty documentaries. Like there's no shortage of shitty documentaries, especially political ones. Like why would you go to a theater to see a shitty political Netflix documentary? It doesn't make any sense. If I'm going to the theaters to see something on Netflix, it's K-pop Demon Hunter, which I did go see and was a lot of fun, even though I'd already seen it like 5 times.
Did you see that like
That does look good.
there was like a review of Melania and it got 1 star and then they printed a retraction of the star? I'm not
So
actually
it got
kidding.
0 stars?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you really need to find a space and you need some time and you need to be alone, just go see Melania.
If you want to jerk off in a movie theater like Pee Wee Herman, go watch Melania.
No one will know. Because the guy running the projector isn't even in the room. He pushed the button and he left.
Just like watching it in the film, like, because the film comes in several reels. It's just like it hits the next reel and it doesn't even keep going. It just shuts down.
It doesn't happen. It's all digital now. Pretty much every theater's digital now.
I heard
Not IMAX.
there's an entire segment of the film where she just tries on outfits and then talks about philanthropy for 20 minutes.
All right.
That's hot.
Do you
What
know how much of
philanthropy is she into?
Do you know how much of the film is dedicated to her time as a prostitute?
0?
All of it?
104 minutes.
Wait, really?
That's the runtime.
Was she a Russian prostitute? Was she the one that peed on Trump?
I mean, she probably
She was the first
does.
lady.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of
I mean, it's not
Epstein.
easy. It's not easy
Is
for
that-
a Slovenian prostitute to become the first prostitute of the United States. That's an impressive trajectory
True.
in life, you know?
I don't know. I'm somewhat just kind of like, I don't want to say neutral on her. I just don't give a shit. She's just like a nothing. She's not worth making fun of. I don't really delight in that.
I mean, up until the movie came out,
I don't think she has really
I
any
actually just
redeeming
felt really
qualities
bad
because
about
she
it.
is. No, I haven't felt bad about her for a while. I think she's leaned in pretty hard to the situation. But I guess I just don't want to care about her because she doesn't actually have any power. There's no reason to give a shit about her at all.
Well, it's not that she doesn't have any power.
know.
It's that she doesn't actually do anything that a first lady could do for, like, the first person, right? Because I'm going to say that in gender neutral terms, even though we've never had a female president. The first person traditionally is sort of a voice for.
Oh, shit.
It's just like vapid, right? I mean, just like, I mean, if Obama dog shit.
Yeah, but she was going out and doing stuff. Melania made a speech about internet bullying,
Yeah, but it's
and that was it.
performative. It's not impactful. It's performative, right? And so, is it better? I don't know. I mean, one is maybe.
I mean, I would try to, if I was the first.
Neither.
If I was the first.
The impact of either first lady, if we're comparing Obama to the Trump first ladies, is equal. Is zero impact.
Well, then they just haven't done a good enough job yet. It's time for you to do it.
Because it's
raise awareness about.
I'll do it,
Treasury,
dude. I'll be.
Using.
I will mansplain first ladyism by doing and performing so hard. Nothing would bring me more joy than to just get in the role of first lady and just fucking nail it.
Well, you wouldn't be the first lady. You'd be the first sir.
No.
Or first whatever.
That's sexist.
First gentleman.
I'm the first. I can be the first lady. Why can't I be the first lady?
I mean, if you identify as a lady, then you're the first lady. But if you identify as a gentleman, you're the first gentleman.
Thank you. I would like to be addressed as first lady.
What? I have been so out of the loop. What was the low for Bitcoin, dude?
It popped under.
I'm so out of the loop.
60. It popped under 60K briefly, and then it bounced. We do have a real question, Kings Willie, and they are a pigeon whale, so we have to oblige. When scalping intraday SPXW, what should I be looking at to see where pricing is headed? Most important data point. I don't even know where to start with this. No, she didn't. My kids still eat dog shit at school. Michelle didn't make school lunches better. That's not true. And anyway, back to the. I don't know where to start with that. What should I be looking for to see where pricing is headed? I mean, one of the things, Gherk, if you haven't signed off or checked out mentally, I know you really like looking at flips. You really like it looking at flips between put and call premium, I think, on the 5 minute. Correct me if I'm wrong.
15.
Putting words in your mouth. 15 minute.
Yeah.
If you're going to start somewhere, so Kings Willie, I mean, like, there's never any one indicator, right? Because by thinking that one indicator could be predictive of all price action all the time, assumes that one thing is influencing price action, but it's, many, many things that are influencing price action. So I'll give you one example. If the market is mostly being moved by, the MAG, 5 members of the MAG 7 going straight up for a few minutes, that can overwhelm any other positioning on even index options. And so there are plenty of times where something can move against you that doesn't show up in whatever indicator that you're measuring. However, if you're going to start somewhere, looking at crossovers between put and call premiums on the intraday for 0DTs on SPX isn't terrible. And I was kind of looking at that today just for fun when I had time, and it didn't seem terrible today either. So maybe start there. But yeah, I mean, ultimately you're going to have to come, that's the beauty of the data is once you have the data, you've got to find those, we talked about this a little earlier. You've got to find those kind of non-statistical, causal relationships where you have a hypothesis where say, okay, well, in situations where SPXW options are driving the market, this or that will be an important feature of that driving dynamic, and I can try to quantify that with the data because I have the data. And so, kind of trying to figure out your predictions is more up to you than us. I mean, we'll try to help you and we'll certainly give you feedback on things that you come up with, but yeah, we give you the data, and you gotta look for the, because anything like we said earlier, anything statistical, we and everybody else is going to try to gobble it up.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but honestly, IV and premiums, it's about where it's at for me sometimes when I'm looking at it. Flips are helpful, right, for support resistance, but yeah, I mean, it's all kind of it's all in context, right? You have to kind of look at the whole thing together.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's
all connected, man.
because we will be introducing more tools in the next, I don't want to give us a timeline of a month, within a month, but in the next coming months, I mean, somewhat imminently, that will build on the data that we're already providing. So the amount of data that will become available to you over time will only increase. So what's important is that you understand what the data we currently are providing tells you and what it doesn't tell you, and get your own intuition on that, because it's just going to get more intense from there. And, we'll update the docs, and we'll do these, but. All right, we're down to, what, 12 people? 14 people.
Hey guys, bored. Welcome back to Dillion.
No more questions?
We haven't gotten any more.
I just answered, I think, the last one.
Yeah.
The rest is just shit posting about Melania
I mean, I just look at everything.
being hot and fierce.
Oh yeah, I was shit posting some memes while trading silver. Silver keeps going up. It doesn't seem to be stopping.
Ooh, Bitcoin is kind of drifting up too. So I imagine futures are doing okay.
After its fucking 80% sell off. No, futures are not doing well.
Really?
Yeah,
Let's take a look here.
ES is down 46 points. NQ down 75.
Oh, that's up from earlier though.
Yeah, but
Pretty much bounce with Bitcoin.
I mean, I would say in order of importance, I probably look at Gamma and then PCR and then IV. Or well, put premium, call premium. I mean, I don't really need to look at Dex Gex because I kind of understand how they work and know what they are. So it's not something I like watch actively, but yeah, I mean, Gamma to get an idea of positioning, PCR and like put premium, call premium to get an idea of trend, and then vol to get an idea of bought and sold. It's fine. I don't care. I bought silver when it was drastically lower than it is now.
Yeah, you know who else is happy and was proven right?
But
My spirit animal.
who is?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Peter Schiff.
Oh, Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile in chief. Didn't he just like have a weird rant
What?
at one point on X where he was just like, there's this one time where I was just like a pedophile creep and, we need to normalize that. And everyone's just like, wait, what?
I don't know.
Yeah. Peter Schiff is not a hero.
No, he's completely unhinged, but there's some stuff where he makes cogent points about a lot of things.
See,
It sucks that he's a piece of
maybe.
shit. But
I mean, I'm reading a post from Peter
hey,
Schiff
Fresh,
here on X
you
saying,
pretty
I
much say
deeply
the same
regret
thing he
my
does.
recent posts, which caused offense and confusion. I want to clarify that while in college, I never engaged in sexual activity with anyone under 17, nor at any time with anyone under 18 when I was over 19. My comments were misguided, and I apologize for any harm I caused. I unequivocally condemn Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and all exploitation of minors.
You see, he apologized, all right? That basically means he's a saint.
Well, also admitting that he. All right. I guess if you're within a year or two, I'm not gonna judge that. But still, like, what? Are these?
Yeah, he's still
are these
shady as
the
fuck.
best?
He's unhinged.
Are these the best the world has to offer? Are people that are just like marginally pedophilia?
I didn't realize that people who make good points about certain aspects of the world, I should use them as a moral compass unequivocally. I didn't realize that was the thing.
I think the point is that like everybody's going to randomly have a good point about something, but maybe the people
Yeah,
that
you should listen to it.
also make really bad decisions that most people don't even consider making might not be the moral compass you should rely on. Everybody can make a
Okay,
good
but we
point.
all listened to Einstein. He fucking banged his cousin, all right?
We all listen to who?
We all, back in the day, everybody listened to Einstein and he was busy banging his cousin.
Oh shit, did he do that?
Yeah, it was something like that.
First or second?
It was his cousin or his second
I don't
cousin.
remember. Does that really count? Yeah, who knows? Isn't everybody? If you look on the internet, everybody's banging their
Some light
cousins, their
incest.
moms, and their stepmoms. It's always the stepmom.
Look, all I'm saying is that sometimes people make good points, and when they do, you should listen to the good points and think about them.
His second wife and maternal first cousin.
First cousin.
Yeah.
But second
Wow,
wife.
it wasn't even light. It was
She
heavy
It doesn't
incest.
count. If it's your second wife, it doesn't count.
She looked a lot like him.
Well, natural attraction.
He just
like attraction.
maybe Albert Einstein was just a narcissist.
Or yeah. Or maybe he just had a lot of trouble finding true love and he just kind of dipped a little into the family pool.
Oh my god, E equals
You
MC
know?
squared is also equals my second cousin. All right, that's I'm ending
Also,
it on
I'd just
that
like to
note. That's
say
too great.
I think Newton is superior because E equals MC squared is just a really snooty way to say 1/2 mv squared, which which Newton came up with.
Actually equals MC squared is incomplete. It's actually equals MC squared plus PV. Get fucked.
Both. It acts as a shock absorber,
But also-
and price can be drawn to it.
You're such a dork.
You remember all the discussions we had about gamma acting
Thanks.
like gravity? Think of gravity. Like, have you ever watched like really boring documentaries from the go watch all of the available Discovery Channel documentaries on space, and then think about gamma.
No. You need to watch every
listen to
single
John Mayer. Gravity.
Yes. Listen to John. Yes. But also you should watch a compilation of every single time in a pop science movie where a person folds a piece of paper in half and then sticks a pencil through it.
Or where they show that like funnel in every science museum where you can like roll a
Oh, yeah,
card
yeah.
down it.
Yeah, the sheet with the bowling ball on it that is totally not an actual geometry. And anyways,
Actually, you know what? The best explanation I've heard on why are all the billionaires pedophiles is that they've run out of things in the real world that they could experience, and so they've turned to that in order to I don't know, but like because it's like they just have to start doing illegal shit.
yeah, it's the ultimate
I don't
rush, right?
hate
I
that
mean,
theory actually. That's
Huh?
kind of that kind of. I don't hate that
it's
theory actually. That kind of makes sense.
It's just
I
like
haven't thought a whole
it's
lot
just
about
yeah.
it.
it's like the extremes of excess, like Caligula.
I
I
mostly
mean,
just
because
think
it's
about how we can make sure we get rid of billionaires.
Yeah,
but-
so the answer is get rid of billionaires. Fewer billionaire pedophile rings if you have no billionaires.
It's the only thing. Nothing else we've tried is working, and it's the only thing we haven't tried. But we can't try it because then what is already happening might happen. Did I get that?
damn, I
right?
never thought of that way.
I think I nailed that.
You did.
Okay, saying you can't have $1
Oh,
billion
all the
is
jobs are
not
going to disappear.
communism.
All the jobs are disappearing. All the jobs are disappearing, and the billionaires are getting more billionary by the day.
No, it doesn't. That's not how it works, Grim 2. You have to be a billionaire for multiple years.
Yeah, no, it's not a
Yeah,
a
you
billionaire
can't-
in
yeah,
spirit
you're-
is a billion.
You have to
This
you have
is
to
not
become
like,
you have to become so bored with 200-foot yachts that you buy a pedophile island.
Yeah, you're thinking of like the principle of superposition where like A plus B equals C, then or A plus
No,
B
those
plus
people
C is
were
equal to
bad
A plus
seeds
C
to
plus
begin
B.
with. All of them?
You can't aspire to be rich. You have to be rich to become. Well, no, there's poor people that are pedophiles. It's a complicated thing. We should
Most-
probably spend multiple roundtables discussing the psychology around pedophilia because that's what we're about here at Gammastrike.
I mean, okay, so it really is in a really simple napkin psychoanalysis. Like the thing is the primary reason people commit pedophilia is if for a power dynamic thing. I mean, it only makes sense that billionaires have a very strong attraction to that sort of a power dynamic.
You've thought a lot about pedophilia.
Huh. That's weird.
No, it just makes sense.
It does
Pedophilia makes a lot of sense to you?
No, it's when you follow the Socratic method.
It's okay. J Fresh is gonna come all over his Labubu children, so
They're toys. They're not sentient. I guess I probably should have led with I'm not going to actually come on them.
yeah, that's probably where you should have started that.
Jesus Christ. If Atomic was in here, he'd be very upset.
When is Atomic not upset?
When I ask him to do things and he does them, or he already did them and I just didn't realize it.
Yeah, but then he's upset that you would deign to bring up a thing that you'd already asked him to do a second time.
That's true. If I ask him a third time, he starts to get cranky again.
Well, we're about to ask him for some interesting stuff, hopefully.
Oh yeah, I've been priming him. It's gonna be the shit we're working on is gonna be it's gonna be a challenge to get it all in there.
Yeah.
But I'm
He's just like, Atomic, what if a database was a cube? And he's like, no, it's a square.
Yeah.
What if it was a cube? It's a square. That's not the most efficient way to represent this data set.
We're already very lightly in the throes of
He says, I can index it. It's fine. This is a topological
Yeah, no,
problem
exactly.
I've already optimized.
Exactly. No, he's gonna be right in his element. So fucking cat's knocking shit over. I'm gonna pick up a pillow and hold it above my head menacingly, and she's gonna run away.
Well, I can't wait to release the cubes on all of our subscribers. We have cubes coming. Lots of cubes.
Oh, dude, they're so hot.
I
So hot.
just want new features. I'm bored. I need a rush.
We've
I
got,
know.
dude. I've done my work. I got the pipeline stuffed.
I've started
just
making
waiting for
like secret
everybody.
indicators again on TradingView, and they're all just oscillators.
I'll start sending you more. I'll start sending you daily pictures. Ooh, actually, I just made one. Hold on. Actually, how far back do you want the look back on the IV statistics? You want 1 year,
Forever.
2 year, 3 year, 4 year? Forever. I can do 4 years.
Don't put it in chat though. Just send it to me. I don't want other.
No, I'm
other
gonna
pe-
send
no,
it to
I
you
don't get
private.
I don't get a rush from it if you don't send it to me just privately.
Yeah, it's private.
I want to like lord the knowledge.
Okay. 1,000 trading day look back on SPXW IV. Just for you. Which also makes me think that this shit's just gonna bounce. God damn it. Fucking shit.
I can't wait. Oh, there we go. MATLAB charts in my DMs. Fuck. All right, I gotta go. I gotta go. That's this is over. Goodbye, everybody.